Hi everyone, so this is part 2 of my reincarnation um, discussion with you. Um, I'm really loving my red hair. I'm sorry, I keep looking at myself. It makes me happy. Except that my hair is always really kind of a mess and poofy, and I have very Leonid, like mane type lion hair. Okay, I'm gonna stop doing that. I have Hermione hair. Yeah, that's what it is. Witchy hair. um, feel really good today. I've been feeling kind of like tingling in my fingers and in my like nose area here and in my cheeks. And I'm wondering if there might not be something going on cosmically that I'm just not in the loop right now. I know that the full moon is coming up very shortly, the 20th or 21st? Very shortly. And I don't know what else is going on, but I'm definitely feeling really like ready to go. um, but okay, the first thing I wanted to say is that I believe the whole point of um, a spirit or essence of a being incarnating at all into human flesh, whether reincarnating or incarnating for the first time, um, not even necessarily human flesh, but taking bodily form, is just for the sheer experience, the sheer joy and adventure of taking on different forms. Um, I kind of hold to this idea that we are magic or part of the divine experiencing itself. So I think the whole point is just to accumulate these exciting, adventurous, even tragic experiences. And I don't think that there is. Some people like to say that there are certain lessons that souls want to learn or have decided to learn, and I don't think it has anything to do with like um, a lesson in the sense of you sit in the classroom and then you take a test at the end and see if you passed. I it's probably it probably may be viewed that way to some people, but I think it's more nuanced than that. I think it's a bit more subtle and complex. Um, I'm thinking that there are certain universal principles, universal patterns, like like the patterns in, hold on, let's see if you, no, you can't see. Like the patterns in a quilt. This was this quilt was given to me by my grandmother when I was a baby, and it stays over my bed here in my bedroom, um, just as a reminder of her. But what I was saying was that there are certain patterns in like, I guess you could say a great quilt, um, the web of life, the tapestry of life, the um, the great big pattern, the great big design, um, and we take turns experiencing different aspects of that design. So, for instance, in the past life reading that I had, I think the whole pattern that I was experiencing was one of fulfillment and harvest, and it was at the end of a cycle where you get all the good stuff from whatever you planted and worked on in previous lives. So that was that. And then this one is more a dormant, no, I don't want to say dormant period. It is a kind of a resting period, um, but it's more of a stepping back and evaluating a few things and letting go of different aspects of life. my life is not it's not a horrible life. It's just it gets really intense and really labor intensive. It's a very labor intensive um, working life. This particular one, and if you saw the previous video, that past life that I got a reading on, I think was more of a more centered on receiving the benefits of previous working. Um, so now I'm in a working cycle again. Not bad, just a little bit different, and not necessarily as flowing and simple and everything that life seems to have been. Alright. I kind of need to get over myself a little bit. I'm completely aware of that and sometimes I make a bit too big of a deal out of stuff that happens in this particular life. And that's difficult not to do, but back to the topic at hand. Okay, so lives lived are not about um, setting out this particular plan, like this is what I need to learn, or having your guides or your personal deities saying, this is what we have set out for you to learn, this is what you have to accomplish by the end of this life, or you're going to have to repeat this cycle again. I don't think it works exactly like that. I know that's how a lot of people see it, and I can see how you would see it that way, because it can, I think the only distinction I'm making is a subjective one. Can never figure out what to do with my hair. I think I like it like this. Frame my face. Okay. Alright, so there's that. And I think that when you transition from one life into the other world, you may stay there and experience like whole lives there, and not necessarily ever feel like you need to incarnate again. Because I think that the whole purpose of this physical incarnating lives is the act of becoming, and on the other side you are being. And I don't know how to. There's a subtle distinction there. I don't know how to express. This life seems to me to be the place where things are more dynamic, things are happening. In the other world, things just kind of are. That's not to say that it isn't or can't be adventurous and fun and crazy. If you know anything about the fair folk, they can have fun and tricky and crazy and adventurous and all of that. But there is an aspect to being embodied, to embodying certain universal patterns that is just completely different from a state of being that is without embodiment. And I think that has a lot to do with the philosophy as to what the body is, as an expression of the divine, of spirit, of whatever you want to call it. These are, as far as I'm concerned, sacred temples. They're like shrines, okay? They are houses that we attach ourselves to. And, goodness, okay, I'm going to hold off on the whole spirit-body connection for now. There's just so many topics that tie into this incarnation idea or reincarnation idea. And also it ties into what other lives are like, or what the afterlife is like. Like I said, I think you can pretty much spend eternities without ever engaging in this physical reality, in this experience of embodiment. I like looking at my hands. If you haven't figured that out, I like talking with my hands and playing with them. I'm really fascinated with them right now because they're all buzzy and tingly. I feel like if I turned off the lights, they would glow in the dark right now. And I'm not on anything. I promise I'm not on anything. I'm not under any kind of substance, chemical influence. I'm just really high energy today. Not exactly sure why that is, but it is. Okay, so no great lessons that you have to learn. No, I don't even think it's mandatory that you serve life sentences. I think it's definitely just when you feel like it's time to become something else, then you become something else. And you may have a group of spiritual friends, fair friends, or guides, or uh, deities, or what have you, come together and advise you as to this time you might want to become this list of possibilities. Maybe this time an animal, maybe this time something that flies, or something that swims, or maybe this time you want to be you've been female for a while now. Maybe you want to be a male for a while, and I think that you figure all that stuff out before you choose to come back into this world and take physical form. Okay, so there's that. I don't think there are any obligations, said that. And what else did I want to say? Okay, here's the thing about believing that you might have been somebody famous, or somebody who now has a name that we recognize. Those people and their memories become universal memories. I do believe in what we call the universal subconscious, or the universal unconscious. Um, and you do tap into that if you go into a past life regression, unless you are particularly dealing with the Akashics, and then you go in and look at your specific records. But most of the time, if you're doing like a meditation, or having a dream, particularly if you are having a dream of a past life, it may not be your own. It may be one that has become a universal, archetypal, tied in with an archetypal principle, like certain historical figures have just not the individual themselves, but the idea of the historical figure has taken on a life of its own, not necessarily having its own presence or its own spirit that is separate from the individual person, the historical person. But what I mean is that we associate ideas to those historical figures that were not necessarily what they were like in that particular specific life that they lived. So, let me think. Let's try with like some saintly figures, like Saint Catherine, Saint Joan of Arc, Saint Saint George, the Dragon Slayer. They have certain mythological and even religious ideas that are attached to their memories now, and they have become collective memories. They are symbols of whole religious groups, um, whole paths of human understanding. So you may be tapping into the archetype and not necessarily the individual life of a historical figure. I hope this is making sense. Like Cleopatra, um, yeah, I guess I'll say no. Let's try Joan of Arc. I think, yeah, okay. Like Saint Joan of Arc, she was known for really standing up for what she believed in. She was also very controversial. She is considered a saint now, but um, I think there might even still be some controversy over whether she was a little bit uh, of a mystic or a witchy person, or if she was not necessarily completely orthodox. So there is a, about her there's um, lot of ideas of a woman um, standing out against what would be socially normal in that time, and her being something of an Amazon figure, and that is definitely something that women of this modern age might easily tap into, this idea of the archetypal Amazon figure, the woman who leads her people into war, or who defends her people. Um, that's the same of Deb, Deborah, Deborah from the Bible. Um, there was an instant there where again with the Amazon archetype, where she sang basically a war song. Um, I don't know if I want to get into that, but what I'm trying to say is that this idea of the Amazon woman, the woman warrior, the singular feminine figure that leads the charge into battle, or that that calls for action, the 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 single feminine figure that calls for action against an aggressor or an oppressor. Um, this is a universal idea, and it's thousands and thousands and thousands of years old. So it's become part of our collective experience. So when we tap into um, past life memories, they might not actually be our own, like we experienced them in the past. Um, they may be just part of this collective memory that we are all a part of. And um, of course, it's difficult to tell the difference, and I'm not exactly sure that we need to tell the difference, because in a way we are all these historical figures. We all tap into these patterns that they represent. And I think the whole idea is to be experiencing these different patterns of life when we incarnate. So, but really, only I think only one person, one spirit could have been uh, Alexander the Great, or Mary Magdalene, or Deborah, or Joan of Arc, or Saint Catherine, um, because those were particular lives in a particular space and time. But we can tap into what those people represent to us now, and what they've represented for hundreds, if not thousands and thousands of years. Um, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think it's a different way of touching um, universal connections that we all have. Um, and what I appreciate about people who do past life readings is when they insist that they will not ask for your particular name in that past, or they will not tell you who you specifically were in that past, because it really doesn't matter. It really, truly does not matter. What matters is what you are doing right now with this life, because right now you've decided, or a group of spirit friends have all come together to decide that you are going to experience certain aspects of what life is in this life. And whatever you did then can inform this life, but it does not necessarily um, figure into this life. So you may have been um, Jack the Ripper. I mean, you might have been someone completely atrocious, completely violent, and very antisocial, and someone you would not like in this life. You may have been a great dictator. You may have been a warrior and experienced death all around you, and pain and suffering and woundedness. You may have been a celebrity or historical figure, and suffered all the pressure that comes with those particular positions. You may have um, been extremely introverted. You may have been afraid of being around people. You may have been you may have led a sheltered life, or even a religiously cloistered life, where you did not engage with people or with the world, or as the the external experience everybody else is having. You may have been extremely popular. It does not. I don't want to minimize that it might have happened, but it doesn't matter if it really happened in space and time. If it's something that is um, very precious to you now, and something that you find you can learn from for this life, then I hope it enriches you. But to use your past in any way, even this life's past, your childhood experience, or um, any experience that you've had in this life's past, to promote yourself, unless it's like you have certain educational background, or you are an expert in something, then if it really has no merit on what you are doing right now in this life, it might be good for you to hold on to that, and to know it, and to reflect on it for a while, but be able to let it go. It happened, or it didn't happen, and just be able to be open-handed about it. Um, don't try to grasp at it, because any time you try to grasp on to what has happened in your past, even particularly in this life, um, or in a past life, but when you try to do it to events that have happened in this life, that tends to not end very well. We can hold on to pains for long periods of time. We can hold on to great accomplishments that we've made in our past for a very long time, and that can get us stuck, and then we can't move forward and proceed to live out what we are intended to live out in this life. And that, I think that's too high a price to pay for a memory, even if it is a genuine memory. It happened. Now something else is happening now, so we engage in what's going on now. Yeah, that's what I wanted. I'm ranting now, but I feel it kind of feels painful to think that somebody would hold on to a perceived past life, even if it was completely, like, even if you could absolutely verify, like, specific memories of someone. Um, like, what I'm thinking of is, like, avatar type stuff, um, as in incarnations of gods and goddesses and different aspects of the divine, like the Buddha. There are said to be incarnations of different of the Buddha uh, and other Buddhas, right? Even even holding on to those. I mean, that's not the point. It's not the point. The point is, as I see it, to do what you need to do now. Um, and even if you sat down with uh, clerics and monks and everybody agreed that you were an incarnated, um, enlightened person. As an enlightened person, I would think, I don't know, but I would think that you would not dwell on just the simple label of being an enlightened person. I think you would be kind of beyond that. That would not concern you. What would concern you, I would think, would be the experience of life and um, engaging with other people and then bringing them up to this state of enlightened awareness. And now I'm rambling again. Sorry. Alright. The next video I'm going to do is just a little update video. But first, what I wanted to say, just at the end here, I came across the Symphony of Science. It's different. There are different videos. Symphony of Science. Yeah, Symphony of Science. We Are Stardust. Just type in "We Are Stardust" in YouTube. It's an awesome song. I might even just put a link in the bottom. I know I haven't been putting links in the bottom, so if I forget, then you just type in "We Are Stardust," um, and it'll come up. And there are different versions of it, but the original version is from Symphony of Science, I think. Um, and it's just about how we are basically all connected, and it's really beautiful. And I would just leave you with that. Look it up, and if I can remember, I will get the link for you. Other than that, I wanted to read a poem, but I might just start with that poem in the next video. The next video is just going to be an update video about the reading challenge I'm going to be doing next week. And if you want to participate, that would be great. So I'll start with that. Well, I'll do the poem now. I might as well. Alright? Poem. It'll come up for me. Yes, it did. Okay. Alright. Once a star. I was once a star. Then I exploded into a million billion little sparks of star fire. Some of me became cool. Some of me became planets and moons. Some of me refused to cool and became the hearts of planets. Some of me broke off into cold space and became ice comets, meteors, and asteroids. And I lost it. Hold on. One moment, please. I lost you. will get this right. Good grief. Alright. That was my computer. Good grief. Oh, now it's not working for me. Okay, here we go. Hold on, sorry. Well, this is anticlimactic. Alright. I was once a star, then I exploded into a million billion little sparks of starfire. Some of me became cool, some of me became planets and moons. Some of me refused to cool and became the hearts of planets. Some of me broke off into cold space and became ice comets, meteors, asteroids. When I became planets, some of me rose up like mountains. Some of me became hard as stone, while other bits of me became fluid. I became water. I became oceans. I became fresh springs and rivers, lakes and ponds. Some of me chose to fly like birds, and some of me chose to crawl like lizards. Some of me became ferocious dragons or dinosaurs. Some of me was magnificently gentle. Some of me became trees and flowers. I became grass and leaves, and parts of me became the animals that eat grass and leaves. The more ferocious parts of me ate the other parts. One day, whole parts of me returned to the earth that I had become. I became small and furry. I became clawed and taloned. I became a new kind of intelligence. Now I look down at my hands. There are parts of me everywhere. There are parts of me that still shine like a star. There are parts that have grown dark. I have soft parts, flesh, skin, even my bones break. I have become human. I don't remember ever being a star. I do not know if stars have memories. I do not remember being the earth, or the moon, or the oceans. I can't recall being a mountain. I think sometimes I wish I were still a tree. I am human. Now I am small, singular. I don't know what it means to be a bird or lizard or even an insect. I was insects once. I have been dirt and disease too. I don't remember any of it. Sometimes I dream that other parts of me can speak to me. Sometimes I dream that I can understand the birds, the squirrels, even lions, hawks, whales, sharks, even the parts that are gone, mammoths, saber-tooths, dragons, perhaps especially I dream of the dragons. When I wake in this body, I look out my window, I see the sun, and when I do, I call her sister. I wonder if she remembers when I was a star. Sometimes I imagine at night that the stars are singing to me. Sometimes the moon whispers. Sometimes the earth's heartbeat is my heartbeat. I place my ear to the ground. Sometimes I hug trees. When I place my ear against a shell, my blood is an ocean. When I eat as one of the gentle. I eat roots, herbs, berries, fruits, grains. When I eat, they become me. Sometimes I think that I remember being them. So what I want you to take away from this is that we are all just having different experiences, but we are all part of each other. Like, there really are, like, bits of you just everywhere. And that's just, like, even the physical matter part. The idea that, these great stars exploded and, bits and pieces went everywhere and became different things. And eventually life forms emerged out of this material. So even physically, we are all connected. We are all little itty-bitty bits of everything. And that's what I want to leave you with. So I'm going to try this again because it was really interesting the first time. If it annoys you, I'm sorry. But alright, so I'm going to say, all stars shine on your back.